Welcome to the Transformers Beast Wars podcast. This is episode number 2. I'm Dale.
I'm Eric.
And you can find us at
www. It's like 6 W's there. Porky Pig. You can find us at optimisprimecast.com.
All right, this week we are talking about Beast Wars,
Episode 2,
which is Beast Wars Part 2, which was written by the same cat as last time, Bob Forward. This was definitely directed by Steve Ball. The second episode of Beast Wars is different than the first in that we know our characters now.
Yeah, we also pick up from a cliffhanger.
We had the cliffhanger. We ended with Dinobot standing on the bridge,
challenging
Optimus Primal to a fight to a great fall. Probably because they can't, they can't say, to the death.
Yeah, they can't say to the death. But it's
in
like
a kids show.
Yeah, I challenge you to rule over the
for leadership of the Maximals.
Yes, for leadership. Thank you for finishing that for me. For leadership of the Maximals, and have you fall a minor inconvenience down a couple of 100 feet.
Yeah.
That you could fly up from, or catch yourself before you start falling and fly up from, and not have a terrible long time. It probably just take, if you decided to walk. If you're gonna walk up from there, it might take you a long time. It'd be a big pain in the butt.
By the time you get back, the war's gonna be over.
It's really. But I mean, if you fly, but don't fly, because that would that would ruin it.
That's cheating, apparently.
Yeah, that is.
But I think they do address that later on. This is the second time. Well, okay, we start off with we're off to this rocky start with some continuity things. Mm-hmm. Optimus is willing to have this fight with Dinobot,
which doesn't make sense.
He's not going to get off of that bridge. Yeah. But he's also not going to send anybody else in. He says it. He says, I wouldn't send anybody else in to do anything that I wouldn't do myself.
And then Rat Trap takes this moment to say, oh, now he says it.
But apparently Rat Trap has forgotten that in the last episode, towards the end of the episode, Optimus did say twice, I believe, that he wouldn't, in fact, give an order that he wouldn't himself execute.
If you watch the episodes back-to-back, much like we did, mm-hmm. It was less than 5 minutes apart.
But if you watched it last week, you might have forgotten.
Or if you watched it when it aired.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, between the commercials and the other shows,
decades.
Digimon came on right after this was on TV when I was watching it, I think. They were back to back. So that's what's going on. So they have the talk at the beginning, and this is interesting because this is really Optimus Primal being the quintessential Maximal.
Yeah.
And Dinobot showing, this is his opportunity to tell us who he is.
Yeah, it definitely sheds some light on his character, what he's all about, and the type of mentality that he has been, I guess, brought up in as a Predacon.
Yeah, he thinks that all the other Maximals are going to follow him if he just defeats their leader.
Yeah, because
they're not even brought up in the conversation, and they're off in the background. Rat Trap says, or Cheetor, somebody says, "Don't we have a say in this? Don't we have a say in who our leader is? What is this?"
No.
Yeah, but Rhinox is willing to. He's like, "No, let him fight it out."
Yeah, he's fine.
Whatever. They need to bide their time because there is a plot to advance in this episode.
Surely not.
So they transform, and then my favorite is just this posturing. There's all this posing. They showcase the posability of the action figures with lots of dramatic camera angles, and Dinobot has his helicopter tail, which unfortunately changes how long it is from time to time. It's a really inconvenient weapon. I don't really understand it. I never have. I prefer when he doesn't have it. And he has this spinning sword.
Yeah.
The spinning sword is weird.
It seems like it should be the chain sword from the Soul Calibur series.
Oh, that would be rad if he was Ivy.
But, well...
that would be a different show.
Yeah, it would be a different show.
But,
and then need to get back to the sexy computer.
Yeah, we have to... You'd have to go back to Predacon base, but he's not welcome there anymore.
No.
So he's got the
chains, the metal...
The spinny sword.
Yeah, the spinny sword.
He's got the spinny sword. Optimus Primal has 2 swords, and he will pose with them dramatically for a moment or so. Cheetor will try to interfere, again acting like a Predacon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things that he has to learn the discipline of being a Maximal, of not getting involved in fights that aren't yours.
Yeah. I mean, not getting involved in fights that are not yours, but I mean, as the fight progresses and later on, I mean, you do see like, okay, yeah, don't get involved, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have like this Mel Brooks moment. It was like, I changed my mind. Guys, help me.
Well, no, that doesn't really happen until the fight really is kind of over. Because So Dinobot's kicking some butt. He's showing off. He's got some flashy
before that,
dance moves.
Speaking of posturing and posing, there is the 50s Temptation Stop in the Name of Love moment.
Oh, man, yeah. We got to get a screenshot of that, put it on the website.
So Optimus Primal's got some major booty action
Stop
going
in the
on.
Name of Monkey Butt.
Yeah, he does this full, like, almost 180 twist, like, where he's just completely twisted around and puts out his hand.
Oh, man,
just
yeah.
like that,
he needed a hand on hip, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Stop in the Name of Love moment is just the best.
And
we're just going to be we're just sitting here quietly thinking about Optimus Primal's monkey butt.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
What has happened to us?
So
Dinobot's showing off with all of his funky dance moves. And he's flying through the air. He's jumping up and down and swinging swords. And Optimus Primal just nails him with a punch to the chin. Knocks him out.
Or so they think.
Well, he's down. Which just shows how
glass-jawed Dinobot.
How strong he is. That's how strong Optimus Primal is. He's strong like monkey.
So but
this is when, and then
why don't you just finish me off?
Why don't you just finish me off? And then Optimus Primal says,
"That's not how we Maximals do things."
Then that will have to change.
He has laser eyes. He has laser eyes, and he shoots Optimus Primal and
in the face,
which causes him to trip over a rock and forget that he knows how to fly.
Yeah.
And he ends up hanging by one foot hand from this bridge, and then Dinobot helps him up.
Yeah, I have a big problem with that.
Why do you have a problem with that? Dinobot justifies it immediately afterwards. He says, "This is not how you tripped on a rock. That's not how I win."
But at what point does the Dinobot, the Predacon,
does the bot?
Yeah. Does
not
the
bot
decide that all of a sudden he has honor?
He has had honor this whole time.
He hasn't.
Yes, he
hasn't.
It's been the same.
He wanted to overthrow Megatron.
Yeah,
and not in honorous fashion.
No, with a fight. He challenged him to a duel.
But like, if he had honor, he would respect the decisions of the command chain.
You can only do that for so long. You can speak up, but you better have the rest of the bearings.
And then
you need some brass ball bearings too.
Brass ball bearings. We'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah.
But then, like in the fight where he says, "Well, then that's going to have to change." That was not an honorable attack. Laser eyes into the face.
I don't know. I'll give him the pass because he backs off immediately. If anything, he didn't go full power with his laser eyes. He didn't disassemble Optimus Primal with his laser arms. He merely knocked him back a bit so he had a chance to stand up so they could continue with their sword fight. All right, but he tripped over the rock, and then Dinobot picks him up so that they can do it the right way. He prefers to defeat his opponents brutally because he is metal like that, literally and figuratively.
Speaking of literally and figuratively metal, right before this fight broke out, when Optimus Primal was saying, "No, stay back! I got to do this on my own." Rhinox made a comment and said, "Man, that guy has ball bearings of chrome steel."
Yeah.
So basically saying, he's got, balls made out of rocks or balls made out of metal or whatever. But being that...
Well, aside from being being that they're already made of metal?
Well, they're already made of metal. And as far as, like, on the grade... Yeah, I mean, correct me in the comments or whatever you want. Email us. Whatever you want to do. Go ahead and chime in if you like. But in my opinion, I would think that chrome steel, in the comparison of the metals that are available to, alien races of technology that are made out of metal, is probably one of the softer metals available.
Well, they gotta be malleable. They gotta transform.
Well, I know, but I mean, even like titanium, which is a harder metal than steel, would be kind of a better choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's got ball bearings made out of titanium. I mean, that would make more sense. It's like, hey, man, you have testicles that are
we gotta go down to the Pep Boys. Get you some new bearings.
It's like, hey, man, that's a bold move, but before you do that, let's get you some heavier stuff. Cause, Anyway, so the fight breaks out. While the fight's going on...
Oh, yeah, they have to have this fight long enough for Megatron to show up. Otherwise, the plot can't advance. And this is where now the Predacons are going to watch this fight, because now they're watching their ex-comrade and the leader of their enemy duke it out. Whoever loses, it works out. So they start taking bets, but then Megatron has the great idea.
Yeah, he's not having any of that. He's like, no, we're going to end this here.
yeah, let's just get them both right now. That'll be much better.
Yeah.
And then we vastly outnumber the Maximals, who would be without a leader. And now all of a sudden, Optimus Primal and Dinobot are best buddies.
Yay!
They're like Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan, holding on to each other for dear life, hanging off of the side of this bridge, while the
honorable, dishonorable, flip-flopper Dinobot says, "No, go ahead." They get knocked out. Optimus Primal goes ahead and grabs both of them, and like jumps basically off the ledge to save them.
Well, this whole time he's been saying that Dinobot's free to join them. He just can't be the leader.
Yeah,
and he's even going to fight him over this.
I'll box you for it.
Which I suppose when you say it like that, okay, maybe they should have killed Dinobot. But whatever, it's a children's show. I'll roll out on that one.
Story. But yeah, so like I mean, he does this this life-saving dive to save both of them, and he ends up hanging on by a foothold, a foot hand, onto the cliff, holding Dinobot by the leg,
losing it toe by toe, but holding on to Dinobot, and then they all start shorting out.
Yeah, and Dinobot, like I mean, Optimus Primal had the chance to transform back into beast mode. So he's not being affected by being shorted out.
Yeah.
Neither are any of the other Maximals.
Because they
never change.
Yeah.
But Dinobot then all of a sudden says, "Go ahead, drop me, save yourself." Like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, he's honorable. Not everybody has to die. Not everybody has to die. He's already reprogrammed his transformation code to be maximized.
And how does that? And speaking of that, how does that actually work? Because like. Okay, I reprogram my code, so I have to say my code in order to transform.
Yeah.
If I can't say that code, then I can't transform. But, and that is like, that is shown and kind of like complete perfect example of is when the fight starts happening and things start going awry. Cheetor says, "Okay, that's it. I gotta help." It's like Cheetor, Maxim, and then Rat Trap closes his freaking mouth.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's a verbal command.
It's a verbal command.
Yeah, it's a verbal command. Yeah, they can't just do it from muscle memory.
That you can program.
Yeah, that you can program. Yeah,
but it's like it's verbal command, so like even the thought of it wouldn't allow you to transform.
No, that's advanced spell casting, and we're not in Harry Potter.
We're not,
and they don't have a wand.
No.
So, but that's the thing. So there are rules, and that's important because we didn't have rules in G1, for example. Every robot could fly in G1.
Yes.
All the Autobots would just take off in robot form and be flying, and then for some reason they would be able to fall into a pit. Mm-hmm. Those kind of
cliff.
Yeah, they'd fall off of a cliff, or if Rumble was hitting the ground and then they'd open up a chasm, people be falling. Bumblebee shouldn't be able to fall into a hole in the ground. He can fly. But here we have rules.
Yeah.
Real honest to God rules, because the reason why Optimus Prime can fly, is because in robot form he has rockets on his legs. Waspinator and Pterosaur have wings. They are flyers. Megatron cannot fly. Tarantulas cannot fly, but he has badass machine guns in all of his legs, which is awesome. And none of the other Maximals can fly. So these are important things. But it is a sad incongruity that Optimus Primal has forgotten that he knows how to fly when he could have let go of the bridge, transformed, and then grabbed Dinobot and then flown to safety.
Yep.
That's unfortunate, but we're just going to have to roll out on that one. So the Predacons shoot a barrage of missiles at them. They miss and end up hitting a big old mountain
Yes.
And the whole top of this mountain blows off, exposing a ton of
crystallized energon.
raw energon.
Natural occurring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Not actually naturally occurring. We'll burn that bridge when we cross. But either way, there's a bunch of raw energon stored in the top of this mountain that is just blown off, and the Predacons all of a sudden have lost complete interest in this fight. They're like, ooh, energon, let's go get that. Yes. So they start walking.
Look at the light, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. But that's the thing, it's a resource war. It's not just a war about who can kill who first and fastest.
They did destroy the bridge that the Maximals were crossing, and that would slow them down as far as like getting to there. It effectively took care of them for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Like Megatron isn't doing any type of normal lofty villain executable plans.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, oh man, that's totally gonna bite you in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, from that standpoint, like, they're being taken care of. They're hurt. They're kind of like on their own. Let's go ahead and do this. This mountain's over here. It's not that far. They start walking.
Yeah.
After they start walking, the Dinobot kind of gives Optimus Primal insight in regards to those raw energon, and how the Predacons would actually obtain it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because what Optimus wants to know what the strategy is going to be. Is he going to send flyers? Because they have more flyers than us. Is he going to send them ahead? How is this going to work out? Dinobot lets him know that the flyers are too weak, and they could get there first. But Tarantulas is the only one with the skill required to refine the raw energon, so they need him. So they're going to be walking it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to take some time. So then the Maximals all have to walk together. And this is where we have one of the greatest rivalries in the history of cartoons, Dinobot and Rat Trap. Because Rat Trap does not trust Dinobot.
Oh, God, no.
And Dinobot has conceded the fight. He said, you bested me, you win, I'll follow you. For now. Yeah, it's all conditional.
Yeah.
It's all very conditional. And that's what I would argue this whole episode really is about. What's the deal with Dinobot? How are we supposed to trust Dinobot? Because he started out, he's the prime candidate for filling the Starscream role. We still don't have somebody who is trying to overthrow Megatron's rule.
Very true.
We don't have anybody filling that role. There is not really a reason to trust Dinobot, other than the fact that he wouldn't kill Optimus when the opportunity was there,
Mm-hmm.
but because it wasn't his doing. If Dinobot had tripped, if Dinobot had shot out Optimus's leg and then stabbed him in the face, then I think he would have done that. Like in the first episode, the voice that urges Megatron to destroy the Maximal ship right now is Dinobot.
Mm-hmm.
Dinobot says, destroy them now. Megatron says, no, I'd rather screw around for a little bit and have a long show.
How it should have ended Beast Wars.
Yeah, that would have ended it.
Yeah.
The whole thing would have been over. The Predacons would have won. So Rat Trap doesn't trust Dinobot. Rhinox was about to do Dinobot in.
Well, the funny thing is that when all of that kind of like passed, they found an area to kind of like hold up for a minute and just kind of find out information about the raw energon and everything else. And all of a sudden, Rat Trap just shouts like, "Okay, hey, Rhinox, waste this guy." It's like, what? And Rhinox is just like, "Okay," just walks like right, starts walking right over there.
Yeah,
Like, whatever.
He's just charging at Dinobot's hip. Gonna break his leg.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of this, and of course it gets broken up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no.
Well, Optimus is saying,
yeah.
hey, but and Optimus is thinking a larger picture.
Yeah,
he's thinking larger picture. We might not all be getting along 100%, but this evens our odds against Megatron.
Definitely.
At least when the big fight happens later on, we have man-to-man coverage. We don't have anybody doubling up.
Correct, but the learning curve is actually on both sides of the fence, though, because while they're making this progress towards the exposed raw energon, the Maximals actually see the Predacons, so the Predacons go ahead and they sent out Pterosaur and Waspinator to go basically to get rid of them before they become a threat.
Yes.
So
hold it, but before that,
all right, go
before
ahead. Sorry.
Waspinator and Pterosaur get there, there are some things that some other larger plot thread nuggets that get dropped when Rhinox, in the first episode, I think Rhinox said that wormhole that when they were chasing Megatron, they traveled through space, and they could travel through time
due to their transwarp drive.
Yes, and they could be there, and they're lost. They're literally lost. They don't know what planet they're on, but they also don't know what time it is. They don't know when they are in time. And Optimus lets on in this little dialogue bit between him and Rhinox that his internal injuries have been healed. He could fly ahead, but he's not going to because he would rather stay with the group, keep everybody safe, because they could be attacked at any time. And then they have a little discussion about the mysteries that might be on this planet, and Rhinox says, "Oh yeah, I think that there are some mysteries on this planet." And they see Stonehenge. They see a Stonehenge.
They see a henge.
They see a henge made of stones.
Maybe of stones. We don't know if it's stones or not.
And they say, did you build this? I didn't build this.
Resolution on the rendering quality of that, it's kind of debatable as stone. Maybe I don't know. It could be wood.
The Polygon henge.
Polygon henge.
They see Polygon henge, but that's a mystery. So there's a mysterious stone formation,
and it really starts to make you wonder. It's like they set out for Earth. They hinted at, don't know really where or when, and then you see a henge.
Yep, you see a henge. And all the animals are familiar, so but you look up in the sky, there's 2 moons.
Yeah.
So there are things, so it's like, okay, you really don't know where you are.
Yeah.
So and they don't know where they are, and it's understandable why none of them would know where they are. The Maximals apparently just can't figure it out, and they weren't even trying to figure it out. All they were looking for was to be where Megatron was. Megatron had an idea of where he wanted to go, and apparently didn't get there. All right, so we had a mystery, then Waspinator and Pterosaur attack.
Yes.
So the Flyers come in, and Optimus is going to go take care of them himself because he can't risk everybody shooting from the cliff face that they're on because they would cause an avalanche. Since none
possibly
of them
cause an avalanche.
Since none of them could fly, they'd be screwed. All right. If Cheetor can be taken out by a big rock, a medium-sized rock. I mean, seriously, if a rock was the size of your chest and it fell on your leg, we wouldn't be walking around. And yes, Cheetor is a robot. He is a robot in disguise, but he's obviously fragile. I mean, think about it this way: he's built for speed. He is going to be more fragile. It's like Gauntlet, the archer in Gauntlet. He could run around really, really fast, and he could shoot, but his arrows didn't do too much damage, and he died really easy. Okay?
Yeah.
Cheetor runs really fast. He could shoot Megatron in the face, and it just makes him mildly upset.
But that kind of happens with all the shooting. It kind of gives, it comes and goes.
Yeah, it does come and go.
The lethality of the weapons that are being shot, it varies. Because let's face it, Scorponok, with a K.
Yes.
He shot Dinobot at point-blank range with a freaking missile.
Yep.
And that shot him, that impact, that explosion was so gigantic and vast that it shot him miles over the horizon.
It rocketed him a couple of football fields away.
So I call BS on your argument there.
No, Dinobot was built to fight. He's built much more sternly. He's not built for speed. He's built to be tough.
Okay, in any case. We're not going to get into this who's more going to be. But in any case.
Scorponok's just a bug. He can't beat a dinosaur.
You know how fragile dinosaurs are? Exoskeletons are kind of frail. They work on a hydraulic system.
Anyway. But yeah, I mean, getting back onto it, there are some learning curves. Like Optimus Primal is constantly kind of coaching and nurturing, mentoring the rest of the
Maximals.
The Maximals. Thank you. I don't know why I was
It's
going to
all
say Prime Medical. He's mentoring he's mentoring everyone. And at the same time, you're saying, hey, Dinobot's with us now. Things are rough, but you guys got to learn how to work together and everything else. And the learning curve is steep on Dinobot's end, too.
Yeah, because he's not used to having to be merciful.
Yeah, and not only that, but he's not also used to feigning into the better judgment of someone else. So when Optimus Primal is like, I'm going to take care of this, don't fire.
Yeah, don't shoot. Yeah.
Don't shoot. So he goes out and he's trying to take care of this. The Predacons start flying off, Optimus Primal starts coming back, and Dinobot decides that he's going to take this opportunity to just finish this
Because
off.
Waspinator and Pterosaur start shorting out.
Mhm.
So they start shorting out. He's like, now, when they're weak. And then he busts out the laser eyes again, which is too cool. I'm sorry, but Dinobot's laser eyes is just badass. So he starts doing that, which ends up causing the inevitable avalanche by accident. Or is it by accident? We don't know. He sets off this avalanche, which almost gets Rhinox, which totally gets under Rat Trap's craw.
Yeah, it sets him off.
It sets him off. He knocks him down. He's got a gun to his face.
Yeah, he's jamming the barrel of the gun up against his head and saying, "Oh, just try me, give me a reason," basically.
And again, Optimus steps in.
Yeah,
and tells him, "Oh, it was a mistake."
It's like, how do you know, man? You weren't here, man.
Yeah, man, you were flying. Yeah, so there is this this kind of tenuous hold that we have. I mean, it does look like a mistake. I mean, I watched the show enough. It doesn't look like he was doing it.
Yeah,
on purpose.
it very obviously was a mistake. It was just kind of set up.
But
to
it's
build some
it is
tension.
understandable. It's understandable that Rat Trap's reaction to it.
Yes,
is totally understandable. He's watching Dinobot like a hawk, waiting for him to show his true colors. Once a pred, always a pred.
We're all gonna die.
But yeah, we're all. He says that stuff all the time. Once a pred, always a pred. We're all gonna die. Optimus Primal will say, "Oh, that's just Prime," in every single episode. I think.
That is only divisible by itself in one.
But then we get to the big fight, which is really what sells me on the first two shows. Makes the first 45 minutes of watching this show totally worth it. Okay, not the whole fight.
We're gonna have to actually videotape this section of you watching this scene.
Oh yeah, just me getting excited.
Just to because it is Prime.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is.
It's not necessarily it's not the best animated thing. I mean, they couldn't fight. Everybody breaks off. They get to the top of that mountain, and they're going to start getting to work on the Predacons are going to get to work on getting this raw energon harvested so that they have enough resources to take over Cybertron and then the galaxy.
Now, the raw energon...
All about conquest.
The concentrated raw energon up there is so strong to the extent where they cannot risk coming out of beast form.
Yeah, they have to work in beast mode, because if they go into robot mode, they will fry out.
Yeah.
In less than a minute. About a minute. Or whatever tarantula. So probably less than a minute.
We're talking like soft-boiled egg minute. That's basically what we're looking at here.
Yeah, we have very little time. Yeah. Very little time.
Maybe poached.
So, man, eggs are delicious.
Yeah, they are.
So the Maximals show up, and then they're just facing off, and they are ready to. Megatron and Optimus are ready to end this war now.
Yeah, they really definitely want to kind of just get everything taken care of right then and there. They're just focused on each other. They're not focused on anything else that's going on. They just completely zone in on each other and just start going at it. And at this point, this is where I kind of thought maybe when this series was going to be thought of and try to figure out what the main characters should be and how they would kind of play together. Because the fight scene, I mean, it's a good fight scene. I'll give you that. But the main thing that kind of popped up in my head, like while this was going on, is like, oh my god, they are in effect recreating the King Kong versus Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yes.
Scene out of the old 1930s, 1920s King Kong film.
Yeah, famous claymation. I didn't even think about it. I never thought about that until you mentioned it today.
Harryhausen.
Yeah.
Good, phenomenal, renowned stop-motion animation guy from, hundreds of thousands of movies. Sinbad, King Kong.
Did he do the skeletons from Jason?
Yes,
Jason and
Jason
the
Argonauts.
That was so good.
He also did Clash of the Titans, the 1980s remake, or the 1980s movie. So many different things.
He invented motion blur in stop motion.
Yeah, he did.
That's how they got those skeletons to look so good in the Argonauts movie.
Yeah. And his work basically was the foundation for many other amazing things, including basically CG animation. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too far into it than just, a kid's show with a dinosaur and a gorilla fighting. but
Yeah, but
maybe
no, we
the
have-
creators were doing a very slight little nod to Harryhausen, the creator of stop motion, whose pinnacle scenes involved.
I wouldn't doubt it. With
with
as much care as was taken into the writing of this show, the execution of it, there are things that are in there for you watching as an adult.
True.
There's plenty in there for you to be to be enjoying as an adult watching the show, and I really don't think that King Kong versus Tyrannosaurus Rex is out of the question to be looking for. Now, when Megatron gets his head stuck and then in the rocks, and Optimus wants to end the fight there, and Megatron says no, busts his head out of the rocks, and then rams Optimus into the wall. That's the best bit of action that they've done in the show so far. When he knocks him into the wall and then bites into Optimus's leg. I always forget about it, and now I just always... Well, yeah, I used to always forget about it, and then, like, the last couple of times that I've seen it, it's just like, it is an adrenaline rush for me to watch Megatron bite Optimus's leg.
The funny thing is that all throughout the series, there's a little bit of, emotion, or emoting of the characters and everything. I mean, as much as a robot or a beast can emote.
Yeah.
But that scene in particular, like the entire sequence of being rammed into the wall, Optimus being kind of like there and defenseless for a moment, Megatron going and just chomping into his thigh, and then the pullback after that, you feel the weight. Not necessarily the actual physical weight, but you feel that these characters are solid.
Yeah, you can catch the gravity of the situation.
Yeah,
it feels real.
You feel the impact, and the way that Optimus reacts to the thigh bite, the damage, and like how much that is just taxing on his system, how much pain he must be in, is fully there.
Yeah, so they did a killer job.
They did a great job. And then even after, he does this, double fist pound down on the Megatron's head to get him off his leg, and then he pulls away, and you see this exposed,
his circuitry
glowing
and stuff.
circuitry from his thigh. And when he tries to move his leg, I mean, if you guys want to see something really, really messed up and disgusting, okay, there's footage. Three footage films or 3 videos in particular that you could find on YouTube. There's a UFC guy, there's a soccer player, and then there's I think it was a football player. And all 3 of these people had their leg broken roughly at the lower leg below the knee. And when that happens, the leg just seems to go to jello.
Yeah. When you see a leg bend in a way that it shouldn't bend.
It's the most gut-wrenching thing. And if you want to get yourself sick, go ahead and do that.
And they really captured that kind of like almost compound fracture kind of feel.
They did. Like,
where this is like
when he pulled up and tried to put pressure on it, I mean, that leg looks messed up. Like, I mean, it bends in a weird way. Like, I don't know if it was like a happy error with the rendering. I don't know.
You didn't animate this right, Bob.
Yeah. Hey, but it looks good. Just keep it in.
Leave it in.
Have you seen this video of the soccer player?
This was due last week. I don't have time to re-render.
Yeah. But no, I mean, they did an excellent job of that. I'll give you that. The rest of the fight, though, with all the rest of the Predacons...
It looked like toys getting thrown at each other.
Yeah, it did. And it really kind of like, okay, well, what's the real point? I mean, you had Rat Trap and Cheater, like, actually jumping on and taking advantage, or not taking advantage of, but, like, having... Tarantulas and Waspinator,
right?
Yeah, pinned down completely on the ground. Like, I mean, done.
Yeah, they win.
They win. But like all the rest of the fight that's going on is just kind of like, whatever. It's just the big fight between,
Yeah. There wasn't much focus on the rest of the battle as such. It was just kind of roll around so that we could have this epic thigh bite. Come on, leg bite is great.
Leg bite is good. I'll give you that. But
then, that's where it was.
But then Megatron has to ruin it.
Well, he's ready to end the war on his terms. He'll blow everybody up. He says, well, if I'm not going to win it here, he terrorizes, and then he's just going to shoot the raw energon, blow it all up. But he also needs to make a speech so that he has time to start to short circuit. And then and he decides he's going to blow up the mountain. Everybody retreats.
Need to wait for most dramatic moment.
And then they all get away.
Yeah. Way to go, Megatron.
Which is super killer. It's exciting. It's exciting. It's it's especially great for being a kids show. There's enough in it for me to still enjoy.
Yeah. At
33 years old,
and
I totally dig it.
I would be lying if I said that I did not enjoy watching these 2 episodes. I mean, yeah, there are moments where it's painful, and I think I spent a lot of the portion of the viewing making comments versus actually getting into the story.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see potential there to get really drawn into it and
it's
enjoy
forgivable for now because yes, we have a lot of punny writing. We have a lot of needing the characters to be thoroughly just laid out. The ones that have a definite persona have to be defined so that the viewer already knows who they are for the upcoming episodes. Because what comes up next week is an episode all about Cheetor. This episode, I argue, still is about Dinobot.
Yeah.
It's all about Dinobot. Where do his loyalties lie? And then epic dinosaur fight with Optimus Primal and Megatron. But this was all about Dinobot. The next episode, episode 3, is called The Web, I believe.
Yes.
And it features Cheetor or Cheater, depending. I don't think he knows how to say his name yet.
No, I mean, he bounces back from scene to scene.
Mm-hmm. But the next episode being all about Cheetor and exploring him as a character. That's just what we're going to be doing.
As well as his relationship between him and Rat Trap.
Yeah.
Which I found enjoyable as well, but that is for next time.
Yep, that'll be next time. So for now, thank you for listening. I'm Dale.
I'm Eric.
And you're listening to the Transformers Beast Wars podcast,
which you could find at optimusprimecast.com.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
High five.